existing understanding that I could situate all these events in. So, you know, when you talk about the book, in a way, traces, I guess, my own sort of process of discovery, in that, you know, it starts off more or less in the present day,
right?
And then it's really only over the course of time that you go back into the history and discover, well, you know, that there are complications to the history that don't necessarily appear on the surface, but in a way impact the events that are described.
Well, another reason I was interested in the way you evoke the presence of the past is because the story you tell about events that occurred while you are there, from 2002 to 2005, is very much a history of forgetting that is ongoing in some parts of Uganda. And I'm thinking in particular of a good example of this is something you mention in a note, but I think is really significant for understanding the story you tell, and that's a report that was written in 1973 of the Commission of Inquiry. Curious to know, one, how you learned about that report, since so much of what you talk about in the book is about people forgetting. And here we have a report, Amin is still in office. It's an inquiry into things that occurred on his watch. How did that occur?
It's really an extraordinary story. There was basically the background is, and for people who don't necessarily know a whole lot about the big picture background, I mean, Amin took power in a coup in 1971, was overthrown in 1979, and Elfaz Lachi, the person whose disappearance is at the center of the book, disappeared in 1972 during like the first really strong wave of reprisals against people who were opposing the government. In the midst of all this, Amin, when he first came to power, was actually sort of hailed by, among others, the British, as being this kind of, you know, populist who would know how to run Uganda better than the guy who was deposed, who was sort of a leftist, had ruled in a not overly brutal but pretty corrupting, craven way, and it was only over a course of time that it became apparent that Amin was like this monster that we now know today from movies and so on.
Some people think that we decided to fight Idi Amin because Idi Amin was killing people. No, we didn't even know that Idi Amin would kill people. We just said, Amin, no, don't waste our time. We've been on a journey. We were having enough problem with Obote because Obote was not fully with us, but he was also not, it was just like that. This side, the other side, not reliable, but not totally opposed to our ideas. That's why we were kubembeleza Obote. We were trying to massage Obote so that we can see whether we move forward. But now Idi Amin, it was clear that he didn't understand what he was doing. So we said, Idi Amin, out. Please don't waste our time. That's why we decided to fight Idi Amin.
The reason we fought Amin was not because Amin was killing people. The killing people came later. But we were in our Uganda, in our journey. How could say Amin could not understand?
We shall crush those enemies as we have done in the past.
The Commission hereby declares Suhabro Kaguta Museveni, the duly elected President of the Republic of Uganda.
All licensed mobile network operators to implement a temporary suspension public internet access.
And as you know, democracy dies in the dark.
We had nothing, not even a single stone, not even a single stick. We have no guns.
I want to thank the armed forces for maintaining peace.
The internet restriction directed is in line with the legitimate purpose.
You people, Uganda is the land of martyrs. If you don't know, martyrs, this is what they call martyrs. We're young boys.
young boys, all of them. I don't think there was any. I hear there was one who was 40 years old, but all the others were young boys. But when Mwanga told them to do bad things, they refused. And Mwanga said, I will kill you. He said, okay, you kill us. That's what happened. And they died, but the one who killed them disappeared also. Then you come to the political matters. Be careful with the Ugandans, you people. Be very careful. You may think you are this, you are that, but be very careful. These Ugandans they are from very strong tribes.
We voted for Chagulanyi. We voted for NUP. We protected. But the militarization. I know 3 young people in Obogi who were tied to a stone. They were asked, denounce NUP as a Buganda thing. Denounce NUP. If you do not, we're going to throw you in River Nile. They refused to denounce. They were thrown in River Nile. And may their souls rest in peace.
And let me tell you information I'm privy to. It has been brought to the attention of President Museveni that Mwanga Kivumbi was not forming a rebel group. He just picked Kanyama from town to go and guard his votes. So someone lied to the president that, oh, these people of NUP, now they have started a group to destroy government. These are boy bouncers you pay 15,000 a day and you give food, Kikomando. They were now to protect Mwanga Kivumbi's vote. But wrong information got to the president, and then they say, go and destroy that group, the rebel group, before they start. That's how they were shooting guys crying, Mama Nyabo, in a garage. They are not even armed with pangas. So they are also liars who benefit by selling wrong information to government because they benefit from security budget. So my good friend from NUP, you are even helping some wrong elements in the military to get allowances that they are doing intelligence. And they will be roofing and building the houses up to ring beam level. So I would suggest it is very healthy to talk now. It even costs nothing for Bobby Wine to go on the platform and talk with President Museveni and say, you have to leave that seat, you are old. Talk! Never close the doors of talking.
How do you talk, for example, with the government in power without being seen as a sellout?
Now that is where the radicals come in. They behave like meeting President Museveni, like President Museveni has smallpox or has COVID, that you should not meet him. I've personally met the president twice. Is it meeting? If I can meet Joseph Kony, who cut people's lip, who put super glue on people's mouth, what is wrong with meeting President Museveni? And selling out for how much? For me, I cannot sell myself. I have my property. If I have problems, I sell my property.
Museveni is Tutsi. And he is the one who trained together with people like Paul Kagame in Tanzania, together with our liberation fighters. And when they came from those liberation camps, then Museveni went and took power from Obote, and then he put people like Kagame and the Hutus and the Tutsis into his army and intelligence. They then started murdering non-Tutsis who wanted power in Uganda because they were majorities. And that's how Museveni becomes the president of Uganda as a Tutsi, and then he begins to assist Kagame to then create a force that is going to take power in Rwanda. And then they must take power in Rwanda, instill a Tutsi in Burundi, and instill a Tutsi in Congo. So when they then succeeded in getting what do you call him? Kabila into power, Kabila refused to put Tutsis into his government. And when he refused, then Kagame and Museveni then sent their armies and rebels into Congo with an intention to remove Kabila. Kabila then ran to SADC. And that time SADC had an organ, or the military institution was called the organ, which was being headed by Mugabe. And he said, listen, they want to overthrow me. And he gave them the reasons why they want to overthrow. Mugabe sent a fact-finding mission that it consisted of Zambians, Namibians, Angolans, South Africans, and everybody from SADC region. And he realized that this was actually a problem. So they went to Uganda, they went to Rwanda, they couldn't find Museveni when they went to Uganda, they couldn't find Kagame when they went to Rwanda, but they got information that there was going to be an overthrow of Kabila, and then the UN was going to be forced to actually come up with a policy that says Congo must be broken down into 5 countries. The 5 countries would then be easier to loot